And the main thing is that while she's pregnant and bringing forth this life, and this life is being created in her womb, there are certain stresses that she really does not need to be under, because, like I told you, she's imprinting. She's imprinting. Now, just let me give you a scenario of how a lot of black women end up giving birth. Usually when they find out they're pregnant, they ain't very happy. Some of them even say it was an accident, which is totally ridiculous, because ain't no such thing as no accident. Because you had to do something. You had to lay down one. Well, you might have got it standing up. You had to open up your legs and tell him to come on in. Now, that ain't no accident. Now, if you're not aware of the mechanics of your body and what happens to it when you allow that to be done, so how are you going to talk about, well, it was an accident? Okay, this is a female that does not know her creative tools and the power that she was given to create. So if you have a lot of women that when they get pregnant, they're very unhappy, she's stressed, short of money, and the big whopper is John say it ain't his. Okay, what kind of consciousness is she now in? Because the average woman, when she allows a man to come to her, he has made her feel that he loves her. She wouldn't let him touch it if she didn't. So obviously he was saying all the right things at first. Okay? So now she says, I'm pregnant. He says, okay, it ain't mine. Because Michael was up in there too. And she's like, but you know, no, this is your baby, this is your baby. And he's like, well, he don't want to deal with it. So what kind of mindset is she in now? She's not in a good mindset, because she feels betrayed. She feels rejected and abandoned. Now, is this the way to start off life in your womb, with these type of emotions and feelings going on inside of you? I don't think so. Now she's got 9 whole months to do what? Be depressed. Think about, dog, I got to have this baby by myself. And, you know, she's all kind of things going on in her mind. And she's not imprinting anything positive on the fetus, because he decided not to help. He decided not to be responsible, because just like she didn't know no more about herself and what she was getting into, nobody had told him that you share in the procreation process. So you have to realize that the tools that you were given, they are sacred. The womb is sacred. Your penis is sacred. That's just not a lust stick you got down there between your legs. She has to realize that her vagina is not the man's playground. The womb is sacred. And you have to realize that when you begin to treat the womb or the penis in a manner that's not sacred, you begin to bring forth vibrations and energies that are going to work negatively against you, because it's all in the consciousness. And you have to realize that you were giving those tools for the bringing forth of divine life. See, these are powerful tools, and you were supposed to know that these were tools for the bringing forth of divine life. Okay, so you have a female now, she's bringing a child, she's depressed, low self-esteem, John done left her, and she has to bring this child up on the planet by herself. And she feels betrayed and abandoned, so she's going to carry that scar a long time. She's probably going to dump that on all the rest of the men that she have to deal with. We call that baggage. But what I'm trying to show you is what this does to the child in the womb, because what she now has placed this child at a disadvantage, because she didn't put anything positive on the primordial being of that fetus. So when a child comes out, he's like all shy and depressed, low self-esteem. Where did they get that from? Where did they get that from? They got a song that says she got it from her mama. But see, you have to know that it works both ways. He can get it from his mama too. See? Get it from the mama. A female on the other hand, just let's take white folks when they get ready to have a baby. Don't they talk it all? Oh, darling, it's time for us to have a baby. And they go fix the room all up. They just really plan. They're very excited. They fix the room and get the right color, and they go by, and he's right there with her. I mean, just constantly supporting her. Just doing everything together. She's not stressed. She's not feeling abandoned and rejected. You see what I'm saying? And he's just waiting on her hand and foot. And then when she has the baby, he's just right there, just doing all the right thing. And then the white children come on the planet with more than enough self-esteem. They just over self-esteem. You have to know, okay, this started in the womb. This started in the womb because, see, once you started in the womb, you make the process for the child more simpler. There's a story in this book called the Bible, and I'm not going to get in today what this book really is, the book of Babel, but there's an interesting story in here about two females called Mary and Martha. And if you notice that an angel came to them and told them, okay, this is what type of child you're bringing on the planet, okay? You're going to bring forth divine beings. So these females, they knew they had to eat right. They knew that they had to have a certain frame of mind. They knew that, okay, if this is a child that I'm dedicating to the work of the Lord, then they knew they submitted themselves to study. They probably read the law or whatever their laws was as far as their religion that they follow. So by the time that the child got here, was it any wonder that it made its transition into its fulfillment of its destiny so smoothly? You see what I'm saying? You see how when the mother is in balance and she knows what role she fulfills, how it's passed on to the child. And that transition is so smooth. But the same way, the opposite can happen. You can send a child through a lot of turmoil. Me personally, I didn't know my mother or my father. So a lot of what I had to learn on my own. But if I'd had that assistance early on, you see what I'm saying? There's no telling where I could have been. So you have to realize that your role is so very significant and important. And that when you abuse those roles, then you hurt whatever comes through you. And that's what I want the men to know, that your job is to be that helpmate and that support for the female. The female, if she feels like, oh, I'm superior to you because I got, that down there. Well, see, her superiority ain't because she got that down there. Her superiority is in her ability to bring forth life. That's it. You can have that down there and be abusing it, in a very profane and corrupt way like you see a lot of sisters doing today. Okay, what she's going to do is bring judgment upon herself because the universal mother says that's a no-no. You were not created to use the sacred womb in such a corrupt manner and then to allow the man to have that imagery of you. Okay, you make all women look bad doing that, because then they begin to view us in a very negative way as opposed to a very spiritual and sacred way. See, it's our job to make sure that you see us in a very spiritual and sacred way. And the only way you're going to do that is how I carry myself. You know what I'm saying? I have to know myself in order for you to know yourself, because you can only do what I allow you to do.